When something comes up where a product or service is found to have something dangerous associated with it, sometimes the danger is real, but in many cases it's not. Yet fearmongers will incite people to boycott and stop supporting services and buying goods because of one action or another by the providers of said item. Even if it's not as dangerous as it is advertised, there will always be those who believe these are confounding conspiracies. Welcome to Confounding Conspiracies. In this series, we take a look at something that shoots into the public flow and totally dissect it, finding the truth behind it and deciding what the reality is of the conspiracy theory. Of all the non-political movements out there, this one seems to shoot to the top a lot. There are those that loudly tell of how vaccine was given to their child who ended up with some kind of mental illness, and those who honestly believe that vaccinations are just a way for a doctor to get rich. But what kind of truth can be found in this subject? What sort of secrets are hidden from us by doctors that would seem to be a dark subject? What is the reason we keep these questions up? I can practically feel the two sides as I write this, but I must point out that it's something I have researched a lot, and some might be surprised. So get your mind open, sit back, relax, and let's get started. In order to really expand this idea out, we must first look at why vaccines were invented. It is actually something a doctor noticed while smallpox was making such a huge problem for the population. It was almost an epidemic in proportion, but this doctor noticed that people who had developed another disease and recovered from, named cowpox, could be around smallpox victims with no fear of getting sick. So the idea of vaccination came to be. Here's the basics of it. Our bodies are wonderfully complex machines. One of the systems that comes to play is the protection of the body from disease and injury. This system begins at the skin, the first shield of the body. It also has defenses in the nasal and oral capacity to also protect it. But sometimes things get through. Even those who bathe regularly and take a lot of vitamins can get sick. But that's when the secondary line of defense kicks in. The lymph system begins to churn out the specialized cells, some of which will bind certain illnesses so they can't progress, and some of which will go and tear the infection apart and absorb it. But another cell also starts to circulate, a memory white cell. This cell's whole purpose is to activate the other cells if the same disease tries to get in again, and will quickly deal with it. The reason people keep getting colds isn't because it's the same virus, but because there are literally thousands and tens of thousands of actual cold viruses that are known. It wasn't because our immune systems aren't up to the task. It's also why most people get another fun farmyard pox, chicken pox, only once. So the question comes up, if we were able to introduce weakened and even dead viruses into a body, would that make the body immune to said disease? The idea was put forward and it seemed to be a viable option. So here's where we get into the part where people come up with the idea that it's a little off. Sure, there's always an issue of mistrust of people who we are supposed to give up care of our bodies to, and a bit of fear regarding what procedures and treatments are given by a doctor. This is okay. It's an issue that many can empathize with. And I should point out, even though it's slightly political, there are no cities, counties, states, or even the entire country where vaccination is mandatory. It's strongly suggested, but never an actual case. Oh, and then there's the case of the coincidence that many who suffer from autism or any other disorder were also vaccinated. But here's the question. Why aren't there more cases? Why isn't there an increased uptake of things like autism? So that's the first question about autism. It has been shown to be a genetic disorder, and certain other environmental conditions, including believe it or not, the use of powdered laundry soap, have a much deeper impact on these people than a tiny bit of mercury that often is metabolized and even passed out before there's enough of a concentration to really be dangerous. If you want to know why I can say this, I'd suggest you watch the first Confounding Conspiracy video I recorded. It'll be on the outro, and believe me when I say the two cases are very, very similar in more ways than one. But now for the really confounding part. It's a common enough belief that polio and smallpox are extinct, but are they? Or could it be that, as a recorded fact, not even the bubonic plague is totally destroyed? Yet even bacteria, which are the only types of diseases that can actually be affected by antibacterial medicines, can become resistant to treatment. So it is likely that, sooner or later, both polio and smallpox can have a resurgence that would come at us out of nowhere. So why does it become an issue? And it's also a much better way to ensure that a child won't get something as deadly as measles and mumps can be to children, rather than letting them get exposed to a full-blown case and not something that is less virulent. They're not gone. While I've made it no secret that I am strongly in favor of vaccinations as they lead to possible immunity against virulent diseases and are a way to ensure that certain other diseases can be mitigated, there is some questions I do have. It's a given that viruses can mutate easier, and given that there are many, many more out there that can be found, why does it matter if certain people get vaccinated time and time again? Why is it, for example, that some who are given flu shots get the flu anyway? And why is it that some decide to strongly influence people to have their children vaccinated against something that can easily be avoided? This is the part where people may be surprised. I'm talking about the vaccine called Gardasil. If you don't know what that is, it's a vaccination against one of the agents that may play a part in cervical cancer in females, a virus called human papillomavirus. While it's likely that it might be one of the causes, it's not the only one. What's more, human papillomavirus is an STD. Yes, the virus doesn't need to be vaccinated against if they use safe sex practices or even complete abstinence. There are many vaccinations that are offered, though, and many that likely are actually fairly useless. Sure, the ingredients might have non-lethal amounts of things that may make us raise our eyebrows a little, but how much of it is really necessary? Now, I'm not going anti-vaxxer with this. What I'm suggesting is that there be a medical education source, much like what WebMD was supposed to be, where each particular vaccine is explained in general or more specific, and are given the choice. Giving useless vaccination will do nothing, but it would work for many others.